Yahoo News, 27th of May 2023, public attendance at some school board meetings in Ontario is being restricted. Here's why it's a complicated situation. Leftist and Islamic organizations have turned school assemblies into platforms for promoting their agendas and demonizing members of other faiths. In Ontario, several school boards are dealing with community backlash to trustee decisions about everything from racial injustice to flying pride flags. Since then, the Durham District School Board has experimented with a ban on in-person spectators after it emptied its gallery during a board meeting, and most recently, the Peel District School Board has had to deal with an organized walk-in during a vote on Wednesday. These responses to the pushback have led to the York Catholic District School Board calling in the police to control rowdy crowds. After the board began enforcing a 2021 rule prohibiting the public from delegating in barred sessions, parent advocate Danielle Dowdy claimed that disrupting the meeting was the community's final resort. The board remained silent when asked why it started enforcing the regulation and when it did so. "You have elected leaders that have a policy in place that expressly states, 'We don't want to hear from the public,'" Dowdy added. However, much anguish and pain needed to be spoken about, and they needed to hear about and comprehend the precise effects of their reckless and unconsidered choice. The problem, according to critics, shows how crucial it is for boards to be able to distinguish between hateful rhetoric and open public outcry over contentious trustee decisions while also making sure that the safety of board members, staff, and the community does not come at the expense of accountability or transparency. Listen, a community leader and the board chair discuss the new ban on naming schools after individuals. The Ontario Student Trustees Association, Ontario's largest student stakeholder organisation, represents over 2 million students. As the association's president and a grade 12 student at the Hamilton Wentworth District School Board, Aisha Mahmood stated, "We need to delve a little deeper into why community groups feel the need to disrupt in such a way. Boards must answer to the people who elected them, so when there is no formal mechanism in place, that is troubling and might even be the reason why a protest like that is being planned in the first place." Meeting is moved by the board after a walk-in. According to Dowdy, community residents protested the Peel Board's decision to abandon plans to rename its new Centre of Black Excellence after Kola Aluyo Made at its most recent meeting on Wednesday. Aluyo Made founded Advocacy Peel, which portrays itself as a grassroots, multicultural organization run by parents. It was created in reaction to the discrimination, pain, and suffering experienced by African American students enrolled in PDSP schools. Aluyo Made passed away in the summer of 2021. The board claims the decision was taken due to a recently adopted policy that forbids naming buildings after persons unless they meet a narrow set of requirements, which Aluyo Made does not. As the board attempted to move forward with its agenda, members interrupted the meeting and could be heard yelling "traitor" and "racist" at the board. Dowdy said instead of a meeting, "It reminded me of a funeral. And by funeral, I mean that all of the work we've been doing was put to death." Police attended the Mississauga meeting in response to a complaint from an online observer, according to CBC Toronto, but they were reassured that there was no concern for safety and that we were not required. According to Dowdy, the protesters eventually discovered the meeting but could not join since it had been transferred to a closed-off space. There were no reported injuries or arrests. The Peel District School Board values the time and effort community members have in supporting Peel kids, according to a spokesman for the board, Malone Edwards, who also noted that members of the public have the choice to delegate in front of committee sessions. Even though the Peel District School Board's environment has changed substantially in the previous year, Edwards said that our commitment to centering student and community voice remains steadfast. Considering safety and security first, School Board Association. The 72 boards in the province, according to Kathy Abraham, president of the Ontario Public School Boards Association, do not frequently have disruptive meetings. But when they do, she claims that limiting public engagement is seldom done carelessly. According to Abraham, "We think that the whole public should be able to see what we're doing. The problem arises when it becomes disruptive, when it becomes unsafe." According to Abraham, when boards decide not to allow the public to attend, there are still ways for individuals to get involved, such as watching the meeting online in real time or getting in touch with the board after the meeting. When publicly elected officials cannot carry out their duties safely and orderly, Abraham said, "It is unquestionably concerning. There are various approaches to getting their attention than yelling at them from a gallery." On May 15, such outbursts caused the Durham District School Board meeting to be adjourned. According to Donna Edwards, chair of the Regional Board of Trustees, they also prompted the board to temporarily exclude in-person participants for the previous 2 meetings it held this week. According to Edwards, persistent interruptions from the public gallery made it practically impossible to get on with the board's business. He added that the crowd was becoming agitated about arguments over gender identity education and hoisting the pride flag. "We've taken a brief break to evaluate our present policies and think about how to move forward in the future in a way that genuinely encourages public participation while upholding civil discourse and security." Student group urges attention to kids rather than politics. Mahmood, a well-known Islamist militant, claims she is reluctant to label public behavior wrong and instead believes that individual occurrences must be examined. A community organization that feels the Catholic School Board has not done its due diligence to consult them on a decision is a very different problem from 2 LGBTQ+ students who aren't feeling safe and community members actively contributing to that. According to Mahmood, the association is trying to collaborate with student trustees to ensure their voices are not buried beneath the political agendas of either community organizations or trustees. According to Mahmood, sometimes it feels like we're in the middle of the fray, and the students' perspectives are almost entirely ignored. Students are worried about how this kind of divisive speech affects what we learn in school, how we know it, and how it affects our capacity to be who we are and feel secure there.